Most LinkedIn profiles are shit. They have a mediocre banner, a terrible headline, and awful content. In today's video, I want to give you the best formula for having the best LinkedIn profile so that when someone lands on that profile, you actually convert them. They become a client. This is something that most people miss. Your LinkedIn profile is like a landing page for you and whether someone actually wants to work with you. Just got to set it up in the right way so that if I view your profile, I am inclined to have a little bit more of a look into what you do and how you can help me. On the screen are bad examples and good examples. For privacy purposes, I've covered up their profile and their name. But the first thing that I am looking for, and again, I do this every day with prospects. I go through their profile and say, okay, this is what needs to happen. This is how you should change it. But the key thing that you want to remember is when someone looks at your profile, the question that you want to answer is, how can you help me specifically? That is what the prospect is asking when they look at your profile. And so you've got to answer that question. So this is a bad example. Helping established businesses build and grow their sales infrastructure. If I read that, I do own a business, but no specific outcome, there's no specific offer, and there's not really a specific avatar or audience that they're targeting. In the previous video, I went through how to build your offer properly and how to actually choose your avatar/audience so that it's specific. So that when I look at it, the perceived likelihood that I think that you can actually get the result is significantly increased. Looking at this, do I think this guy will get me the results? No, it's not specific. The other thing is it says get more clients, pay after. Now, whenever I see someone who says, oh, once you get your results, you can pay after it, it also suggests to me that they're not confident in themselves to get the result. Hence why they say, hey, look, I'm gonna get your result first, I'm gonna work my hardest, and then you pay me after. Which doesn't give me a lot of confidence. I know if someone asks me for money up front and they're gonna hand over the money, they're like, hey, you gotta pay this, and we're gonna get you this outcome, I have a lot more confidence in them because they're confident in themselves, because most people, they might have a guarantee, and it's like, we'll give you all your money back. I have confidence. What this could say is, I help established businesses at 200K to 800K annual recurring revenue, redesign their sales infrastructure so to increase the close rate by 20%. That would be a better example. It's specific in the offer and it's specific in the avatar that they're targeting. Again, I would then put a little bit more refined version up here. So I might say, increasing your close rate by 20%, or something like helping B2B founders 200K to 800K ARR, increase close rate. For example, I would then put that in the banner in big writing so that they can see it. And I'll show you a good example in a minute. Scrolling down through the profile, what is missing in the feature section? And again, most people do this. So you're not doing anything wrong by doing this. You're not doing yourself a disservice. But what is better is that featured section is one thing. And that one thing is a funnel into your service. Hey, how can you actually help me? I want to see. And the cool thing is, what you can do is at the top in your banner, you can do a call to action. If you want to increase your close rate by 20%, click my featured section. And of course I'm like, I want to increase my close rate by 20%. Cool, I'm going to click their featured section. And that should guide them through a set pathway where they can book a meeting, see some of your client testimonials, and just see how you can kind of help them as well. And I'll give you an example a bit later of what this looks like. But the reason you don't want more than one thing is, you know when you're on Netflix and you're sat there, you're looking through all the movies and half an hour's passed and you still haven't made a decision on what you want to watch. That is called the paradox of choice. If you have too many options to choose from, you end up making no decision at all. So it's the same thing applied here. Over 3 different posts I could look at. Why would I know which one to look at? I don't. I could click on any of these and would it actually give me value? Probably not. But if they specifically said to me at the top, hey, if you want to increase your close rate by 20%, click my featured section. Like, hell yeah, I'm going to click the featured section. I want to do that. And they go through the set pathway. I'll show you a really good example in a minute what this looks like. The other thing is, I don't want to go too deep into content, but to give you an example, you want to have a really good hook. And I can show you a bit later some of the posts that I've done myself, which got really, really good impressions and really good reactions because it had a good hook. That is the key that you want to focus on. It doesn't really matter about what the post is about, as long as it's structured neatly and easy to read. It's all about the hook and getting it right. Cool. Now, another bad example that I've come across is this one. The banner is black, apart from momentum in the top left. That's it. And it says strengthening entrepreneurs in body and spirit. It's very tricky to understand what they do in this situation. And it's very hard for me to have a quantifiable outcome that I can buy into. That's the problem. Because the thing is, it's like strengthening my body and spirit. I don't know if that's something I would hand over money to get. If it was a specific outcome, for example, strengthening entrepreneurs by a more efficient schedule to buy back at least 20% of their time and improve their health, something like that, that would be a better outcome, because it's an outcome that I can go, hey, here's my money. I want that outcome. The other thing is, because it's specific, it increases the perceived likelihood of achievement. I actually think I'm going to get that outcome because they've been specific in it. That's the idea. The other thing is, in the banner, it should be big, bold writing, hey, this is what I do. So that when I land on the profile on my phone, which is what 80% of LinkedIn users are on, I can see it and it's in big writing. Again, I'll give you a better example a bit later. About section, what we're looking for, or what I'm looking for when I'm looking at the about section, is you want to reveal the problem that you know your prospect have. So in the previous example, a low close rate would be an example. So you say about that, I help B2B founders 200K to 800K ARR, increase their close rate. That could be at the top. And then you want to reveal the problem. Are you experiencing a low close rate? Have you already tried X, Y, Z? That's the problem. Then what you want to do is you want to agitate the problem. Remind them, hey, if you continue with this problem, what's it going to look like in 6 months, in 12 months? If you don't increase your close rate, will you be able to grow your business? Really agitate the problem. Hey, this is a bad problem. You need to solve this now. That's how you want to structure your about section. Then again here, you want a feature section which takes them down a funnel that they can see. So I could look at the top of the banner or at the headline and go, okay, that's a cool outcome. Again, you can have a call to action, click my featured section, or DM me body, for example, to learn more about this. Just some action that the person who lands on your profile can take to get the outcome and at least get a step closer to achieving that outcome. Then we look at the content as well. It needs to be better hooks. Lift 4 times per week, sleep 8 hours, walk 10K steps, eat clean. I ended up in hospital, full stop, because I didn't eat properly, full stop. That's a much better hook, because as a person reading that, they go, oh, what? This person ended up in hospital because they didn't eat properly? I don't eat properly either. And they're gonna read the rest. That's an example of good hook. So it's just improving the hook at the top. This is another bad example, but sharing insights within marketing and sales. Grow faster. There's no specificity like what we went through in the previous video. There's no outcome that I can buy into. It's like, cool, grow faster. How fast? I want to grow, by the end of this month, I want to be double the revenue. Could have said that. I also have no idea who for. That's the other thing. Who is this person targeting? Are they B2B founders? Are they chief marketing officer? Chief technical officer? Who is this person targeting? They haven't said. So as a prospect who may actually benefit from this person's service, when I land on his profile, I'm like, oh, I don't think this guy can help me, because he hasn't been specific in how he actually helps them. Now, features section is a lot better than the previous 2 examples. There's actually a set path that they can follow. We put you in touch with numerous VCs. Cool. Outcome I can buy into. Awesome. I'm going to click on that. Or an example is new clients, generate clients faster. Oh, I can click on that. But the problem is, most people land on the profile, and again, this is something called above the fold. They probably only see this. And so they're not even going to get to the feature section and see, oh, he can help me generate clients faster, because they haven't got a call to action up here and they haven't been specific to guide them to the featured section. That's the problem. So those are some bad examples. Some good examples is this one here. So you see how I was mentioning you want it to be big on the banner? Get more clients than you can handle. Click my links. Call to action, specific outcome. More clients than I can actually handle. Now, of course, this can apply to anyone, because I will know as a business owner, because this is presumably who he targets, Again, he could be more specific in that element. He could say business owners doing XYZ ARR or B2B founders, whatever it might be. But, you know, like if I said to you, oh, it's really expensive, everyone has their own ideology of what they think expensive is, right? Same here. Get more clients than you can handle. I know that my max capacity is probably 15 clients at one time. And so I'm like, okay, well, if I can get to 15, this person's going to help me. That's cool. So it's using language which feels specific. Oh, more than you can handle. That's specific to me. I only have a set capacity that I can handle, which is cool. Also, got some client results as well, some proof of concept, testimonials, case studies, and it's also got a few pictures of the clients. And what's really cool about this, and this is very subtle, but it is something that you can do, is you see how all these people are quite young in the actual profile picture. Now, I know this person personally. They target young people, and they only target founders between, I think it's like 25 and 35, maybe slightly below 25. And so what they've done is, in the banner, they've got people within that age range. And so landing on the profile, I go, oh, hey, that person looks about my age. Oh, that's cool. He helps people my age. Again, it feels more specific. Then we move down to the actual headline, helping you book 30 to 60 qualified calls a month. Perfect. That's an outcome I can buy into. Thank you, take my money. And then got a call to action. DM me for more info. Now, I would almost critique this slightly and just make it a bit longer. Helping B2B founders at X ARR, and you could even do age as well. Ages 20 to 35, book 30 to 60 qualified calls a month. DM me for more info, or DM me calls for more info. So you give them an actual word. So it's all about reducing the resistance that it takes for a client to actually reach out to you. That's what you want to do. Now, in the featured section, got book a free consultation call and a done for you system. So people can actually click this. Now, the one problem with this is it goes directly to a calendar link. You don't want to do that because you want to have some resistance before they can book a call. And what I mean by resistance, and I'll show you an example in a minute, is you want to ask them a couple questions. Hey, we only help these specific people. We just want to ask you a couple questions, see if it even makes sense for you to book a call. And then you just ask them a few questions. That's the key. And so, yes, you're adding a bit more resistance, but it's positive resistance because you're getting more information from them. And the cool thing is you can get automations now where if they put in a specific answer, then you can just disqualify them. They don't even make it onto your calendar. So that you know every single person who's booked on your calendar and have come inbound is someone worth your time. That's the key. The other critique or the other improvement that I would suggest is one thing, which is really cool. Just one specific thing. So one set pathway that the client can follow down. I'll show you an example of that in a minute. And this is actually one of my favorite profiles that I've ever come across because it all just makes sense. Big banner with big writing. Modern financial advice for millennials. Personalized strategies for business owners and high earners. Read my blog. Call to action, specific outcome. Modern financial advice. Cool. Then we look at the headline. Modern financial advice for millennials, aged 30 to 45, earning 300K plus who are self-employed or have equity comp. If I'm a 35-year-old, for example, and I'm earning 300K plus and I'm self-employed, I know that this person is for me and that I'm looking for financial advice. This person can help me. You see how almost immediately, if I was someone who landed on this profile, I know this person can help me because they've been specific. But notice, they've been specific in the avatar, but not in the offer. Financial advice, that isn't very specific. Any financial advisor can give financial advice, right? But they've been specific in their avatar or their audience, so it still resonates. That's the key. The other cool thing is, again, I know this person personally, they've been posting on LinkedIn for 3 years and had never got an inbound lead, right? All they did was they changed their banner, so it said what they do, and they changed their headline, so it said the people that they help. The next week, this person got 5 inbound leads and closed 10K of business from those 5 leads. And that was purely because there were already people landing on his profile who they could help, but that person didn't know they could help until he said it specifically. That's the key. That's why it's such an important aspect, because you've got to get it right. Because then when you start doing outreach and someone sees your message and they look at your profile, they will know in the first 5 seconds, hey, you can help me. That's the key. And that is why it's such an important element. What I'll show you a very quick example of someone who I work with currently, and it works really, really well, and the whole kind of process, just to give you an example of what good looks like. So this is someone that I'm currently working with, and this is an example of a very good banner. Now, because they're already very established on LinkedIn, they don't need the specificity in their offer, and they don't need the specificity in their avatar, because they're already very established. So do not take this as an example of, oh, I can just do a generalized, hey, I help this many people. Don't do that, because they are very established and they have the authority to not be as specific in their offer or avatar. But the example that I wanted to give you was this, because scroll down, click my links, make money on LinkedIn. Simple as that. You scroll down, there's one thing, you click on it, and then you go through a set pathway. Start selling on LinkedIn. That was a cool free thing that I can opt into. Awesome. I can hit 6 figures. Cool, interested, book a chat. Then it asks for details, and then on the next step, it's asking a couple questions before I can book in a call. Now, this is a very good example, and obviously you don't need to be as high level as this, but the cool thing is, for example, if you do have 2 offers and you're really, really struggling to choose which one, if they're interlinked, you can have 2 different pathways. So they have 2 different offers. An offer which is specific to people doing over 30K a month, and an offer specific to people doing under 30K a month. And they can still accommodate both because they have 2 different pathways that they can follow, which is really cool. So this is an example of what good looks like. It's an optimized profile. You could scroll down, you can click on one thing in the features section, and you can go through a set pathway to book a meeting. Super cool. That is an example of what good That is an example of what good looks like. I wanted to focus on this as episode 2 in this series, because once this is sorted, we can now get to the fun bit of outreaching to clients with your new offer, the avatar that you're targeting, and your optimized profile. That will be in the next episode.